Okay, cut.
Wow, Neil Armstrong. Hey, wait a minute. You're supposed to be on the moon. I just saw it on TV.
Oh, there's a tape delay and with all solar winds.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to SEMO TV. I am your host, SEMO, and today we're going to explore the deeper outer limits of outer space as we travel to the moon with a very diverse group of astronauts. Or is that exactly what's happening, or is it something else? I'm going to go ahead and make a case for something else. I think this might actually be a psyop, and not just any old psyop, but a gigantic psyop. And I want to get in front of this one. Maybe I'm wrong. Absolutely. But I've been reading in between the lines, and it's not that hard on this one. Why is that? Well, Artemis II is set to launch into space any day now, and all the articles can't help but talk about how diverse this crew is, and how it's not a bunch of white men like it was 50 years ago. It's a diverse group, including a black guy, and a Canadian, and a woman, because that's so important. Isn't it? Yes, that's who we need to send to outer space. But that's not where it starts and stops, folks. It's actually a lot deeper than that. Now, okay, you can say the moon is big. The moon is about the size of the United States. Like if the United States would just lay along it, and that's 238,800 or so miles away from here. So just picture you're kind of looking up and you're seeing about the size of the United States that far away. Okay. Fine. We can say that that's the truth. Now, 50 years ago, we had a bunch of guys, allegedly, who got in a rocket ship, blasted off, took less time than it's taking these guys today to go launch into the moon. Now, they did strap a Jeep to that particular rocket ship. They landed on the moon. They drove around the moon, played a little golf, stuck a couple flags, filmed it, and then they took off, filmed that somehow, delivered that to live TV here on Earth, black and white for most people. I don't know how that was all pulled off. Allegedly it was. But okay. All right. And they lost all the technology. Again, these things get lost in between the cracks. I get it. NASA maybe, just doesn't have the best filing system for their data. I totally get it. I get it. I'm the same way. I lose stuff all the time. But now we've got Artemis II, and Artemis II is about to take off. Today, as I record this, is Monday, March 30th. And apparently on April 1st, we're supposed to see the launching of Artemis II. Now, what is April 1st? It's April Fool's Day. And I think there's a little bit of a little something to that. I was reading this article, and there's a lot that stood out to me. First of all, now I've read a bunch of articles, but really what they really are trying to get to us is that this is a diverse group of astronauts. Okay, great. I'm so happy for the astronauts to be representing a diverse group as they explore deep space. Now they're taking a 10-day trip, and they're not orbiting the moon, but they are going to go around the moon, I guess a little slingshot. And now this takes 10 days, which is longer than it took the astronauts 50 years ago to do, where the astronauts actually landed and took back off. But this 10-day trip is going to be there, and I guess they're going to do like a sling around in a dark side of the moon. Apparently, they're going to have lots of footage for us. They are going to blank out for, I guess, like 20 minutes or so. When they do get to the backside of the moon, it is going to be slowed down. They're only going to be doing about 1,000 miles an hour, pretty slow for space travel. And they're going to be giving us more or less a live feed the whole time, not just photographs. So I, for one, am looking forward to that because so far we don't have any real documentation of the dark side or the backside of the lunar surface. So, hey, I can't wait for that if that's actually going to happen. But is that actually going to happen? I'm going to give you a reason why I don't necessarily believe it is. So here we go. As I read these articles, there are very short descriptions of each of these astronauts, but 2 out of the 4 of them make reference to dying. In fact, the first one of the first gentleman astronauts references his will and how he described to his daughter where he keeps his will. Now, for a very short article or a description of this article to be describing this guy's life in a nutshell, they put in this article how he told his daughter where his will was. All right, I found that strange. I found that strange to just be writing about in general. Now, I understand maybe the astronaut would do that with his family, sure, but to be writing that in the article itself is a little foretelling, in my opinion. And I could, I kept reading. And as I got to, I guess his name was Hansen, 50-year-old astronaut. I think he's the Canadian guy. He also references dying or not coming home from this mission and how he knows his family will be able to continue and carry on if that's the case. Again, pretty morbid for a couple astronauts days away from going into space to be talking about not returning. So right there and then, my little sensors are up. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, we're getting into April, and the first of these months, April and May, to me are big times for a lot of new things to be coming. Now, I'm a little off maybe on my calendars, but I know that, in reality, we should be having 13 months. And I know that there are kind of different calendars and things like that, the astrological calendars and whatnot. But I think we're kind of at the end of a real calendar. I think March or April is the actual first of a real year, if I'm not mistaken. And so what did we have March 1st of this year? We had Iran, Israel, United States getting into a major conflict, aka a war, potentially a large war, potentially a world war. We're not really sure where that lands just yet, but it definitely seems to be pretty serious. Now we've got Artemis II about to take off. Where's the news on this? We're going to the moon for the first time in 50 years, and what do we have on the television? No King's protests. I mean, what is this all about? Why are we not making this like a priority of headlines? Let me know. I just can't understand it. I just can't. But moving on from that, I do believe that there's a few things, I have a few scenarios that are coming to my head as far as what this could actually be. Now, stick with me because these are crazy conspiracies that I am literally making up, okay? I do think this could be a psyop, folks. I really do. And if I'm proven right, I hope I get a subscription from you guys, okay? I got to tell you, these articles about these astronauts are bizarre. They're just bizarre. And we've got all these predictions coming forth regarding the Sphinx and how the stars, when there's a blue star, I think that's going to turn red over the Sphinx. And then we're going to start seeing all these new things. And this is going to happen on Easter Sunday next week. That, I think, may be the start to this disclosure that we've kind of all been waiting for, this alien disclosure, this we're not alone in the universe. And could it be that Artemis II will be the discoverer, will be the connection? Will they be the intergalactic, bringing together of Earthlings and aliens? Or at least the discovery of it? I don't know. That could be one way this is unfolding. The other is, are these astronauts just not going to make it to the moon or not make it home? I don't know. The other thing that I think is going to be strange is once this Sunday, the Easter Sunday happens, apparently we might be getting like all of these orbs showing up right after Sunday or Monday, whatever it is. We're going to be seeing, allegedly going to be seeing this like kind of an influx. Now, in the past, when we have these sightings or these really large scale interferences with weapon systems, it tends to happen around nuclear situations. And what we're seeing in the Middle East right now with Iran is on the brink of what could be a potential nuclear situations. Whether it's United States, Israel, Iran, I don't know. But the fact that we could be launching soon to that degree could be calling on another dimensional set of beings to be coming out of the woodwork to be stopping this from happening. Or it could just be Project Bluebeam finally showing up to this new thing, this new generation, this new, what's next for the globe, right? This new world order, as it were. And I'm not putting any of that past any of us. So what I'm telling you here, guys, is just from reading between the lines of some of these articles, the lack of articles, it's telling me that something big is going on. Now, I'm putting myself out there. It's not easy to do this. I understand it sounds a little kooky, much less kooky than it would have sounded 10 years ago or 20 years ago for sure. But there's a lot of things that are saying and seeming to be coming together right around now. Now, April 1st, May 1st, I think we've got something happening right around here. Now, I don't know, is April 1st in the beginning of April kind of the beginning of a disclosure, and May 1st will be the culmination of that? Yeah, that's kind of where I'm going with it. I don't know how Artemis II plays, but I do think Artemis II is going to play a role. Now, could it be that Artemis II is totally safe, goes behind the moon, and then feeds us back something we've never seen before? Yeah, that could totally be the case. Will they actually show us? It could very well be. Will it actually be real? I don't know. Again, this is a very sensitive situation, in my opinion. We've got this crazy war. We've got things in chaos all over the place. We've got, these comet-looking things. I don't think they're actually comets to me. I think it could be a lot of things, but I do think we're on the brink of seeing something interesting happening here. So take it for what it's worth. It's probably not worth very much right now, but if your boy Simo is onto something, at least I'm ahead of it. And if I'm not, I hope you enjoyed watching my take. Now, what is my take exactly? It's that Artemis II is supposed to take off on April 1st. This crew, this very diverse crew, which is what they really want to sell us on, is supposed to go to the dark side of the moon, circle it. Again, they're not orbiting the moon. I guess orbiting means they're going to do a 360, which they're not going to do. They're going to take a 10-day trip, and they're going to basically just do a half circle around the moon. And they are going to be filming it. They are going to be live streaming it. They will cut out for about 20 minutes. But once they come back in, we're going to get this feed again. This is what they're telling us. This is the official. So can we expect to get a legitimate feed? I hope so. We'll see. It's been 50 years, and all of a sudden, 50 years later, we've just got this rogue crew of 4 just happening to make history, and there's not much news about it. Seems a little odd to me. And then we've got in these articles at least 2 of the 4 crew members talking about their death in some way or another. Odd. It's odd. We've got April 1st being April Fool's Day. We've got May 1st being always a day, in history, May 1st seems to be a day where something pops off many times. I mean, I didn't do any research to tell you that, but I know for a fact that in my history, I've seen a lot of big pop-offs on May 1st. So I do think we've got something coming around the corner. And Artemis II seems like a perfect nucleus for that to be happening. So I'm interested to see what happens, but let's kind of keep our eye on this one and see if we're onto something here. I don't know. What do you guys think? Am I absolutely out of my mind? Am I maybe, getting somewhere with this? Or, let me know what you think. Apparently Easter Sunday, right after it or right during it, we're supposed to see like a new disclosure, I've heard the word orbs multiple times. Maybe that's kind of the soft opening to this disclosure. Again, maybe it's Project Bluebeam. That's really what we've all the conspiracy theorists like myself have been waiting for, a Project Bluebeam situation, which I think is much more likely than actual, aliens that we're not familiar with. Something more controlled than not controlled is what I expect. And the more it seems like it's not controlled, the more I'll believe it's actually controlled. Does that make sense? So anyway, folks, I don't mind putting myself out there like this. I know it seems a little kooky, but if I'm right, I'm looking forward to making some more content for you guys. And I don't know where this is going as far as history is concerned, but it certainly seems a little ominous at this point. So I just want to make a video about it and see if I can get your guys' thoughts. So leave a comment. Let me know exactly what you're thinking here. I appreciate any of the likes and subscriptions from you guys always. And thank you so much for watching. I'm Simo, and this is Simo TV.